The anime begins with a boy whose father wanted him to be as big as the universe. As a child he was made fun of because of his name, so he decided to be bigger than NASA. On his way home he saw a beautiful girl, and when he went to call her by her name he was run over. He lay in the snow as if he was going to die, and the gentle voice of this girl echoes in his mind. She protected him by jumping up to get him out of the way of the truck. This protagonist is extremely lucky, and when he wakes up from fainting, even though he is injured, he runs towards the girl and she is simply beautiful. He meets her at a subway stop and introduces himself. She recognizes his effort and wipes his blood-stained face. She also covers him with her cloak. He loves the smell and warmth of a beautiful girl. When he tries to walk, he finds that his legs are broken. The girl then leaves in search of an ambulance. He doesn't let it just fade away and continues after her, now talking about his resemblance to Princess Kaguya. He launches into his speech in order to win her over. He talks about how he loves her and that even in death one must fight for love. Even though he has just met her and doesn't know her name, he asks to be with her. This guy has attitude, I admit. Unfortunately, he blacks out, and when he wakes up he is in a hospital he doesn't even know, and he regrets that she is not there. After this random event in his life he just studied and did rehab. He didn't feel like going to school anymore, so he just dropped out. Some years later he worked as an attendant so that maybe one day he would see her again, which never happened. Now he is 18, even with a lot of money. This is not what he wants. That night, the girl reappears at his door. Her name is Tsukasa and she asks him to come in. He is very nervous because it is the first girl to enter his house and he stares at her a lot. She then shows him a marriage register that she says is for both of them. He is startled and confused that so much time has passed, but he still loves her and goes to fill out the paper. It was a moment he feels suspicious, the father that she just wants to deceive him, but when her beautiful smile, he forgets everything and fills in the fastest. She loves her new name. They go to the registry office to deliver the papers, and on the way he notices the fact that she never laughed at his name. Tsukasa seems to understand a lot about NASA, telling his story of knowledge, effort, courage, and patience to get to the moon. Actually, I think his name is fantastic. In the end everything works out. Now they are married. He loves the feeling of everything. He wants to attack whenever he wants and she allows it since they are married. Tsukasa had to go out to get her things. Yuzaki is thinking about how to sleep together in the same bed, but she is too small. He has to innovate ways. Then his house arrives and he doesn't find the idea of her sleeping in a hotel so comfortable. He makes a face like an abandoned dog, and so that she doesn't have to go to sleep in a hotel they go to buy a futon. They arrive at a store and ask questions about types of futons, and he gives very intelligent answers. Women really love intelligent men. He walks through the store holding hands, all silly. Everything is paradise for him now. You have a girl with him. She calls him to try out the bed, but unfortunately he doesn't accept. There's still not enough for her to spend the night there, so they go to a convenience store, buy pajamas. At home he keeps analyzing her silhouette, putting on pajamas. He goes to change. She asks him to do it right there, but he refuses, because he's embarrassed. Soon after they go to sleep, but he can't wear them and keeps watching her sleeping and praising her beauty. Moves a lot sleeping, leaving the futon. When he goes to help, he thinks about kissing her goodnight, but she'd better be awake for that. In the morning before the parking lot there she starts to take off her pajamas right there, and Yuzaki panics and warns her. At breakfast before the hull appears to be in Choco Guide that we take, making very tasty food. She likes to see them freaking out at her food. After eating they go to the bathroom and use that she is anxious to see if the car is coming out of the bath. But on the way they need to buy things needed for a woman's bath, since a man only needs one soap and one shampoo. And the Yuzaki is delighted. That is the reason girls are so smelly. Taking the bathroom, he finds Kaname. She is the owner's youngest daughter and works there. She likes to make dirty jokes with Yasaki or with other customers. He tells her that they are married. The surprise is such that she covers my name, gives the entrance to the bathroom for free as a wedding present. We then discover that the gift was only for her to scrap. Mom asks for an explanation of what happened. Here we find out that she is only 16 years old. In a conversation about making explanation very happy, she arrives at the moment when he cries out loving her very much. She is embarrassed, but she doesn't hate. She is very happy. In the shower he is fantasizing moments when the girl is stripped naked and the boy accidentally sees her. He is sure that if he acts normally he could see that he would be like this, but that the name was watching him listening to his fantasies. I thought it was too intrusive. If Casio gets into the bath so relaxing and soon realizes there is another girl there. She is the older sister of. She says she fell asleep there and saw everything the fighter did before entering and starts narrating everything as if it were shameful things. She says that if it were up to her she could even send herself to Vasco as an apology, asks to wash her back, and Tsukasa the Kaname does not leave the bath of while the area washes the back of. Title takes the opportunity to compare her skin as Walken iPhone 10 was only to say that she is very beautiful. Then the question to dispute if she is related to Yusak, because they have the same name, in this case only confirms without giving further explanation, and Yuz that wakes up in a massage chair, thinking that everything was a dream, until Tsukasa arrived there. I am also there, and Yuz gets silly about that. Your case be very beautiful, and then she goes to ask what is the relationship of the two, finding out that they have studied together in elementary school. Then she says that he helped to rebuild the bathroom, telling the story that her father ran off with an Edo he hired to work there. She is very grateful to him. Returning home her house seems to feel jealous of her, saying that she is very pretty, and then confirms by saying that yes, she is very pretty. She misses shaking with jealousy while she was going to use it, that she keeps complimenting Aya. A misunderstanding occurs because they are going through a wedding ceremony, and Yuzaki thinks she is upset that they didn't have a wedding ceremony, and he asks if she is upset that he is talking about the area, and she says she is not at all, even though she says she also wants to hear being beautiful. He thinks it's about the wedding dress. She is smart but dumb at the same time, and using that he runs off saying he is going to do some research and tells her to wait a little longer. Going back home alone, a car is following. Inside it has a girl who called her to feel loved by someone. She feels kind of lonely because her husband left her on the first day of marriage, but she feels grateful to be able to wait for someone loved. While she waits she wants to feel useful, but everything is already well done at his house. In fact he is the guy who wants to reach the speed of light before NASA rings the bell. Thinking if Yuzaki, she opens the door happy, but her sister kicks herself. You pass just close the door and knock non-stop. Even your sister complained about the noise. She came to say that Tsukasa's disappearance has made her grandfather sad and worried. Taebrat tries to hug her in the middle of the conversation and is stopped, that the fighter doesn't seem very likely to touch her, and then he sends his sister away, and tells her to leave a message that she is married. She's so sorry she's being kicked out by her sister, and Yuzaki sees and tries to help. Tito explains that one of his family hasn't come home. But it's not really family, this person is delicate and gets hurt easily and can disappear in the blink of an eye. If the case comes up in the middle of the conversation, and the next thing you know she has turned into a monster for knowing that he married her sister, and Yuzaki introduces himself happily and invites her in. But Te Touch has already created a rivalry with him, Jose, who tries to reverse that by using the power of speech no jutsu. But then she snaps her finger and a quick arrival of. She wonders why Tsukasa married a guy with Yuzaki in a mansion. She says she is going to end this marriage using some infidelity scandal. She just needed some proof. With that she calls Charlotte and Aurora, two very pretty maids. She asks them to put him in the situation so she can take pictures. She really enjoyed using and was over the point. While they were thinking, Charlotte and Osaka took the opportunity to run away. And Yuzaki enters a room and it contains a moonstone and other very important things. Carlotte, who manages to find it, she is holding a sword, not taking any care with the room. She starts to attack Isaac and ends up breaking the place where the moonstone is, and the nitrogen comes out. The stone will oxidize, and use that asks for utensils to be able to fix it before the most important thing of kicking you if destroyed. Brought you be impressed that he doesn't know anything about Tsukasa. That stone was given by her grandfather too, and then he starts with some strange talk that only she should marry your prisoner, because only she will give you what you hunt for. Take advantage of the situation and put her face on your balloons. And Aurora takes several pictures. As an apology for taking that picture, Aurora uses Photoshop to edit it just a little bit. This one of mine doesn't look like a Photoshop genius. You go through the photo and it's creepy. She tells Aurora to go work in Hollywood for something so perfectly. Tokyo calls somewhere else with the excuse that they are going to fight, but actually the two of them are running away. Through a secret passage they arrive at Alan Shammer's church, a church that nobody uses on top of a hill. And seeing beautiful things stops brooding, and when he asks her to marry him he also gives her a surprise kiss. The other day, when the fighter realizes that there is no TV there, she is surprised because she really wants to watch the movie Space Turbo, in which has sharks flying and fighting for space. And Yuzaki doesn't like movies very much. He knows this as his hobby and starts giving her many movie references, like The Good Husband. He decides to buy a TV and wants the best one, but you scrap only that it was the cheapest. In the bathrooms, and Zap is telling about the marriage proposal too, and the situation starts to rest below when he remembers the C he gave. She doesn't ask about the rings, and Yuzaki doesn't think you would like one, but that the name gets angry and gives a lesson in what to fill the three main things a woman would like. While the affair is in the bath, thinking about the two of them kissing. Soon after, they go in a park and he says he has to work until 21 o'clock, and they are silent for quite a while. He thinks that this will get lonely, and to comfort him, take his hand. They have another kiss. The bush is Charlotte and Aurora, just spying on the two, already at home, and Yuzaki needs to work and is afraid of her feeling lonely and leaving, so she asks him to soon, since she is afraid of that happening. At work he is missing her and thinks of the wedding ring being the materialization of their love. It's coming so they won't feel lonely when they are away. At home he tries to convince Tsukasa to want an alliance, since she doesn't see the need for it, and thinks it's a waste of money. He keeps insisting and she takes it to a very expensive diamond store, and Yuzaki is about to have a fit because it is so expensive, but he would still buy the pair of rings. But thanks to the quick action that passes, he gets rid of this dumb idea. On the bench in the square he explains what the ring would be for. Tsukasa thinks it's cute that he cared about her. Hein kisses her on the cheek and says I love you for the first time. In the end they decide to buy a cheaper ring, but every time Tsukasa looks at it he will remember how caring and kind he is to her. By night, and Yuzaki can't sleep because the fighter always invades his bed. This time he builds up courage and hugs her. He finds her very cozy. She is very soft, and so he keeps squeezing. Tsukasa turns to him. He is afraid she didn't like it, but she just to give him a kiss. Some time later she rolls back to the futon, but Yuzaki had already been on her a few more kisses. In the morning, he is looking like a zombie, as he has not been able to sleep. Excited by the night before, he looks up several double beds on the internet, as he wants to sleep together with her. After all that, he also fantasizes about a living room, a big one, and a sofa so they can watch movies together. And he gets very silly. He also wants a bathroom so she can call him to take a shower together. He tells her to change this idea of living in a bigger house, but she finds it nice and has the advantage of always being close to each other. And Yuzaki mentions that the protagonists want to be pirate king or make mistakes, but the greatest desire of this dish here is to share a bed with his wife and sleep hand in hand with her. Back home, he decides to be careful with his words when saying that he does want a bigger house, for fear that she will feel hurt and leave. When he gets home, he finds Tsukasa taking off his clothes. The two of them, embarrassed, go to the park to go use. That explains the benefits of a bigger place. He uses the strategy of the movie theater and stands for books, movies, and manga. She has fallen, but is holding on. The final card is the fact that they can sleep together holding hands, and she accepts. Back at home they are talking about needing help with the new house, and they remember not having told their married parents, and then hear a very powerful scream as he is explaining about this house while she spies everything through the door and blushes. In the morning he receives a message from his mother saying that she guessed the situation of him wanting help with a new house and is using this to say that he got married. Brought you and learns the news. She thinks that the trip can serve as a honeymoon, since the parents live in Nara and not in Tokyo, and Yuzaki thinks the same thing about being able to have on a honeymoon, since they need to spend a night there. The fighter takes the opportunity to ask for a camera for pictures of the trip, but the main reason is to take pictures every day with him, since people tend to forget daily things, but every day is precious with the person he kills. She wants to accumulate precious memories like a secret couple's diary. He takes the opportunity to take a picture of her and finds it very pleasurable. At that moment a desire awakened inside him. Going to his parents, he takes a nice angle to photograph their house and then leaves on the bus. if you are going after as she has not yet accepted their marriage. At the stop, Yuzaki is looking like an old man while Tsukasa found it quite comfortable. She gets worried thinking that it was her fault for not having accepted to go in the first place and use that realize and recover quickly for her to feel good. Outside, Charlotte and Aurora love the couple who inquire and for wanting to separate them. She is furious. She doesn't care if that's a cuddler like the other one. This bad bug cub wants to break up the marriage anyway.